Good morning. This, of course, Justice's waiting room. It is 8:30 a.m. on the fucking dot. Uh, Thursday, December 19th, 2024, and I think today's gonna be a great day. I'm really looking forward to it. So, all right, and so as per usual, people are gonna want to reach out. They're gonna watch the show and they say, "How do I get in contact with this person?" I'm on Blue Sky. That's it. I've got Facebook, I've got Twitter, I lurk. I don't use them nearly as much as I use Blue Sky. So there's my name, Jared Malat. There's my information there at likelyalien.bluesky.social. Good morning, inspired. In addition to that's my name, that's my Blue Sky. Make sure you follow me on there. I'll follow you back. Hopefully you don't embarrass yourself and I have to call you out because I will use you for content. And I don't normally praise. Just a joke. Make sure that you like. Sorry, I immediately heard my voice. Morning, Lori. All right, so look. Here's the link to our actual live show. So if you wanted to tell people where you spend your mornings and you were wondering, how can I help you, Jared? I don't have the money to do it. Hey, you could make a post on social media on Blue Sky and tag me and say every morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, I'm here at this link. You should join us. Welcome to the resistance. And then what I do, okay, is I take that link and I create the first post that I post on Blue Sky a day. Okay, so I was in a Marine Corps, so it's always greeting of the day first. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Right. Every morning at 8:30. Hashtag live on YouTube. Discussing news and politics from a left-leaning angle. It's unnecessary. It doesn't matter. YouTube? Podcast. Gotta say podcast. I don't know. I only have 14 characters left. I think I'm good. So good morning, May. Inspired, Lori. Who else is in here? Hey, we had 9 people in here. So anytime we hit about 10 in a room, it's, hey, drink water today. Eat healthy. Get 8+ hours of sleep. Exercise. Take care of yourself first. Control what you could control. So I don't know if I got that point across yesterday when we were talking about, somebody had asked on our Discord. Let me invite you if you're in here and you're not on the Discord. I think our Discord's actually going to end up being the nuts. Here's why. We're going to get censored the hell out of. Okay, so this afternoon is going to be, and moving forward, so long as we're co-streaming, that's going to be a pretty watered down show. Comparatively to what we've already done. Okay. But that ban's lifted this afternoon at 2:45. I'm kind of shitty that I didn't get to participate in any of these competitions they've had for the last week, and I'll only get to do it for like 2 days if I get to do it at all. Um, oh, it is afternoon for you, May. So let's talk about the most pressing. What is going to affect the most people? And a lot of people would say, oh, it would be Elon Musk tweeting 70 times last night, getting Democrats to back out of a deal they made to fund the government for at least the next 90 days while they work out their budget, right? Uh, no, the actual biggest story, okay, the leading story this morning, friends, is the Teamsters strike started today. And we are, if this show is anything other than a socialist podcast, we are pro union. Okay, so we don't always agree with all of the unions and what they do, but on the whole, generally pretty good union. A full blown Teamsters strike. Okay. So that's going to affect a lot of people. If it slows down or keeps you from getting stuff that you ordered by the time you need it this holiday season, we will point to this and we'll say that impacted millions of people. It's Teamsters. It's the largest union. So again, everybody wants to start like Jared, go after Elon Musk. Uh, he doesn't have a problem. He doesn't have a problem with people being after him. He's playing Grand Theft Auto, bro, in real life. In real life. So, yeah, biggest story this morning. I just want to make sure we start here and say, hey, Teamsters strike started today. I hope nobody gets hurt. I hope they get all the money, and benefits. Okay, but that's the story of the day. And then, obviously, this fucking asshole. The second biggest story of the day, because it's going to affect the second largest population of people, okay, is this Elon Musk, man. Tweeted last night 70 times. Yep. That's another big group of people at risk. But yeah, Elon Musk tweeted 70 times last night, got a spending bill that had already been agreed upon, got the Republicans to back out on that, which could shut down the government as soon as tomorrow. But why would you do that? You have to wonder, and you also have to wonder if that ends up being the tipping point for like the DOJ. And understand that the hands of justice do not move quickly. So I know there's a lot of people out here agonizing over consequences. It's not healthy. It's not a clean way to live. I understand that at this point where you are right now, you're like, he just keeps getting away with everything. And that's how you feel about like Elon Musk and Donald Trump and like all these motherfuckers. And it's just like, at some point, they're going to get what they got coming to them. And I'm going to keep saying it. It ain't going to be because of you. So it sounds an awful lot like to me that if you're getting yourself worked up over people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk not facing consequences, understand that one day they will face consequences. They'll unalive. They'll die of natural causes, probably, and never do a day in prison. And instead of just settling with that and living the rest of your life out in spite, right? What do I tell you every day? Take care of yourself. The first thing I said this morning was, y'all got to learn to control what you can control, and you can't let all these things that we're talking about cannot stress you. They cannot stress you. If you don't have to make a decision on Elon Musk's life today yourself, stop. Stop. Let go. I get the sense that people are becoming increasingly incensed in this situation, and it is my nature to de-escalate and say, I empathize. I understand first. I understand first. I agree first. I'm not arguing with you. You are literally arguing with yourself now. Control what you can control. Take care of yourself first. I'm this close to saying we are under attack. Do you get it now? So what I'm asking you to do is listen to the words that come out of my mouth, and I'm telling you to get 8+ hours of good sleep a night. Men. You gotta eat good as long as you can. You gotta drink water. Hydration, man, the difference between hydrating and not hydrating. Like, live really good, die. Like, those are the fucking options, kid. So a lot of people are, you know, feeling some type of way. I've heard people tell me they feel physical pain over this situation, like the election and its aftermath. And I'm telling, it's not with, hey, Jay, you could say it's self-care, but it's preparing you for war. Except, for most of my audience, you're not war age, right? But just know that the reason that I lead on self-care is because war is coming. And if you're letting all the pre-war activity get wear you down, just wait till American troops start dying in fucking combat. Then how you gonna fucking feel? Right? So I know that it's uh how fucking white cis male of me to get up here and tell everybody calm down. But understand that, like, it's in my nature to de-escalate situations and to stick my hand out and say, control what you can control, though. Like, you're going to have a panic attack over this situation, and how do you think 400,000 fucking government employees that are about to lose their goddamn pay and all their benefits and shit, and they got kids and families and houses and shit, and it's the holidays? So maybe miss me with the making it about yourself this time. Maybe be a little more empathetic. And maybe it's time to contact your fucking Congress people. Maybe it's time to call your state fucking representatives and say, I was on this White Boys podcast today, and what he talked about was empathizing with the people that are going to fucking suffer. Not not the billionaire that gets gunned down. I could give a fuck. I've told you Luigi Mangione is a distraction. Aliens are a distraction. It's meant to divert your attention. We are in an information war. It is a matter of national and international security. I want to keep reiterating, I am a listener of speeches. I will listen to your fucking speech. I will think about what you said. I will, after your speech is over, go seek out your transcript to try to go back to a part that you said. And just so you all know, they usually fuck up the goddamn transcript. And so people always are going to ask, like, Jared, what's the nagging fucking thing about your life that you can't do anything about, but it's driving you fucking crazy? You want to know? You want to know? So I had a podcast for a while. One of my listeners was deaf. So they asked to turn transcripts on. And I was just like, shit. Did you hear what I said? Like, I was podcasting years ago, 7 fucking years ago. And I had a deaf fan that was like, hey, will you turn on transcripts so that I can go back and read your work? And so, what happened? What happened? Did she crash out? Oh, yeah, Lori Harrell. Why, though? Triple question marks. Yeah. No, hold on. Yeah. So we got to get to the next. Let's get to the next story. Okay. Yeah, Brasher said that won't stop EO 13848. No, that's what I was just saying. Brasher, that was my last post on TikTok where I was like, listen, the reason that Elon Musk is doing that shit, the reason he was doing that shit last night is because he did not take government in the United States. And he does not have a deep understanding of how our government works. And so he thinks by shutting down the government that all ops stop. All it means is that your paycheck's fucked up now. So one of the things that I try to do is shut it down an hour before I try to go to sleep. So that means that, I'm spending all my energy in the morning, right? Not just on a show. For the record, if nobody ever asks how I'm feeling, right? I don't ever feel bad doing this. I like doing this. I like being here. Like, when I come to you, I'm not coming to you stressed. I know that you're coming to me stressed. Just so you know, because this is I hate to be that fucking guy. This shit is effortless. So when I'm telling you, get 8 hours of sleep, drink water, eat right, exercise, take care of yourself first, that's how I've gotten here. Okay? That's how I'm 41 years old, 6'4", 300 pounds, and in perfect physical health. I could still touch the fucking rim off one foot. Because it's like I've been in a war my whole fucking life. Honestly, when I think about it, like when you really think about it, I've been fighting my whole life. When I was little, I didn't anticipate it. Because I was a kid. How could you ever anticipate that like your parent is gonna be the person like, you know what I mean? Like punking on you and shit. I didn't get treated like that ever in my life, ever. And then I think about the way I got treated by like other men in sports, in school, at work, you know? I think about where I am with friends that are men now. And I'm confrontational as fuck. I'm guarded. I'm protected as fuck. Everyone that I thought ever cared about me turned their back on me. So how do you fight all of that? How do I fight all of that? Treat yourself. To quote motherfucking Parks and Rec. Like people think there's like this magic recipe for fucking happiness, and it's like treat yourself. Like be really good to yourself. Control what you can control. If you're always looking around and pointing out all the problems in the world and you aren't actively doing anything to solve them, what are you doing? I'm going to say it, but I'm talking to mostly women. So when I say bitching, it's just like, just bitching. Is it healthy to let it like haunt you? Is it healthy? Does it happen to all of us? Do I totally empathize with like feeling some type of way as a result of something that happened that I largely cannot control? Yeah. Yeah, I empathize deeply. First, I actually do that first. Before I have any other comment about what you say, hey, I empathize. I feel that way sometimes too. But I let those feelings pass. I breathe. I think about one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. You just have to keep fucking going. You like don't quitting is not an option. In this particular playthrough, you got to do it all the way to the end. You know what I mean? And again, most people aren't doing anything, and at the most they're bitching about it. Shit, think about how many people there are that have completely fucking shut off all the election noise. Holy fuck! Can you imagine if you don't look like me and you were really hoping Kamala Harris won? You went out and voted and shit, but you had to go back to fucking work, and you work, I don't know, some intense job, whatever, where you're fucking beat ass tired when you get home, and you haven't really paid attention to shit. Social media was never really your thing. You were never a big understander. So you just kind of accepted Donald Trump and all his fucking cronies won? Sure. We're fucked? Sure. All those people that he's appointing are going to get in cabinet positions? Sure. Sure. Understand that corporate media, mainstream media, is not talking about anything other than the Donald Trump regime and his cabinet appointees. Well, there's a reason I'm here, Lori. It's what I'm trying to do is de-escalate because I can empathize. Because I can empathize and I can say I can't imagine how I would feel if I hadn't oh, excuse me, I'm not getting emotional. I'm a smoker. Oh my god. Brasher, you're 100%. Society gave us PTSD. 100%. 100%. So, let's do what I want to do is I want to raise the mood. I love music. It does stuff. You don't have to like it. You could not vibe with it. But this is the original before it got like made into other shit. And this is what I originally chose as the opening song. Okay. So it's kind of funny because I was in the Marine Corps and y'all are like my little platoon of people. And my song my song is an anti-war song actually. Okay. But fuck yeah, Wolverines, all that shit. Like the thing that you got to understand is that I think this is a very cut and dry situation that far too many people don't understand. And that is Russia is our enemy. Vladimir Putin is former KGB. Do you understand that Russia put bounties on US soldiers? I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Do you understand that it is like an affront? It is like an affront to me that my mother voted for Donald Trump, that my brother and his wife voted for Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck about what my dad did. And I live in Indiana, which, when you look at the data, by the way, the one thing that my wife and I were chuckling about is I don't know if you saw this. So, this is super important, by the way. It's super important that you see this. If you are on this show, okay? If you're on this show, here's the latest The latest. Oh, come on. Let's look up smart elections. Yeah, something like that, Jennifer. Semper Fi. Do or die. All right, so check it. What I just posted is the Smart Elections post from a few days ago. Or not a few days ago, 2 days ago, to be exact. On the eve of the Electoral College, smartelections.us, which is a bipartisan project aimed at making sure our elections are free and fair, put out their data that shows when normalized Kamala Harris won 5 of 7 swing states in the presidency, and also there are hand recounts and audits still happening. So I just want to make sure everybody knows, like we were talking about, like, oh my God, if they certify first, for the record, let's talk about the Electoral College. Changes were made to the Electoral College. There are people that are going to be listening to this show that haven't been on every show. And how many people we got in here? 18 people. Why is my phone ringing? See, this is why I put my phone on fucking silent, right? Like, why is my phone ringing? Who could? Why are you calling me? Sorry about that. Yesterday was making noise. Today's it's fucking ringing. But yeah, the smartelections.us, again, I'm just gonna keep reiterating truth. Like, this is something I'm honed in on. That's a bipartisan project. That means it ain't, nobody can look at that and be like, Dim said it. Oh sure, but it's a bipartisan project. It normalized the data from the election, and Kamala Harris won 5 of 7 swing states in the presidency. So understand, like, that Electoral College certification, in my eyes, was committing a crime. And up until that point, I understand everybody's stress levels are at like varying levels. Hopefully you've kind of come down since I've started talking. But understand, like, a lot of people's stress levels were peaking the eve of the Electoral College because the outcome didn't change. And the understand that that's only five votes ever have been different than what was expected. I did my research. You go back and look. There was like a less than 0.1% chance that any votes were going to change, and they didn't. So I'm operating from the standpoint of being correct, telling you why I'm correct. But on that evening, I think that if your stress level is peaking, it had to plummet immediately, because Smart Elections put this out. I've been pumping this for 2 fucking days. I've been putting it out and saying, here's truth for you. When data has to be normalized, that means it's abnormal. There, I said it. And they had to normalize the data for the swing states. This is me blowing on the hand and shining my fucking fingernails on my shirt and shit, saying, like, I fucking told you the day after the election that I saw election data that this shit is fucked. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm in the last year of college for the third time. Okay? So when I can look at exit polls and say exit polls don't match my expectations going in this election, that told me that the exit polls were cooked, and it turned out right away Donald Trump bought his polls. He paid for positive polling. So do you understand? So something to think about that I don't think people actually understand. People don't actually get it. Remember how I told you a few months ago? A social media company did an audit of Donald Trump and Elon Musk's. No, I'm not the only one. That was not what I would, that's not what I'm implying either. I'm not making content about what happens if Donald Trump is president because we've talked about that very early in my lives and in my content that millions of people die. And that if one person dies, it's a national security risk, and if it puts somebody at risk internationally, it's an international security risk. And so you're in danger, boo boo. Other NATO countries are telling their citizens to prepare for wartime. Is this thing on? Can you hear me? So when I'm telling you like get 8 hours of sleep a day, drink water, eat right, exercise, I really mean like you need to be in the best shape of your life. You have to live as though 2012 is going to happen and breathe like you were prepared for it and move like you were prepared for it so that it becomes muscle memory and that if I would totally recommend tumbling. Go to Whoopi. You're in danger, girl. Thank you. You're in danger. How should you behave? Act as if, right? I would definitely recommend like kickboxing, tumbling. Yep. Girl power the fuck up. Yup. I would recommend that you stay in large groups, that you travel together, that you hold fucking hands, link fucking arms. She goes where I go, and that you start guarding your fucking space, and that you carry a taser, and you stick them in the dick with it. I don't give a fuck. Carry a pistol, nothing smaller than a 9 millimeter, and you aim at their head, and you don't need to use the whole clip. You just need one. Understand? One well aimed shot. That's all it takes. And that you need to practice that for years before you ever think about doing it. And that otherwise, stay at home. Stay out of the fucking way. You want to stay as healthy as you can, as long as you can. You never know when you're going to get your card pulled. Look, when I was a little kid, I grew up outside Chicago, okay, for 4 or 5 years. And for the record, it was 88 to 92. So, yes, it was fucking awesome to live outside Chicago when Michael Jordan was gracing us with the first three-peat. Yes, that was your boys' childhood. Bulls games, White Sox games, Cubs games, Blackhawks games. Like, that was my fucking childhood. Yes. Michael Jordan is him. Yes. I don't know where I was going with that. What the fuck are we talking about? Oh, my dad used to take me to St. Catherine's, which is a private Catholic school on the near south side of Chicago, right next to this place that I'm sure you've all heard of. It's called Lincoln Park, not the band. I know a whole bunch of people just leaned forward and said, "Holy shit, you know where Lincoln Park is." Yes, my dad used to take me there and drop me off so I could play basketball all day on Saturdays. And he told me the whole drive out there, you're going to get your ass beat. They're going to be physical as fuck with you. They're going to push you down. They're going to expect that you are going to want to fist fight them because you scrape your elbow or you scrape your knee or they're hard on you. And he said, you got to understand, there's a reason that my dad also took me out to Wabanzi College. And keep in mind, this is kindergarten through third grade. So my dad took me out to Wabanzi College so we could play against the college white boys. And my dad told me, he's like, there's a reason that you were playing like rec league basketball with all these undersized fucking white boys is because like they're just like a little bigger than the kids that you're going to play against when you go to Lincoln. And so he would take me to Lincoln Park, and he would play, and he would just tell me, "You're gonna get your ass beat." And we did that for like 4 years, and I never one time got in a fist fight. And so, first of all, talk about the fucking what actually happened not matching every fucking movie you ever fucking read in your life, where like I get kidnapped and fucking killed within 24 hours, and then my family goes on a fucking deadly rampage and decimates the fuck. You know what I mean? Like none of that, none of that. In fact, like after the second week, my dad started bringing a cooler full of Gatorade and fucking shoelaces, not shoes. Kids had fucking shoes, but what frequently happened is they would also have like dogs, and like when you're poor and you got dogs and the dogs chew on shoes and shit, you can generally get to them before they destroy the shoe, but frequently you're gonna shoelaces. And so the first time, the first month that we went to Lincoln Park, my dad was like, "What if we brought shoelaces and Gatorade? What would it do?" And for the record, everybody wonders. Oh, we just played longer and harder. Those kids made you a lot better because now that I nothing changed. We're still just as physical as basketball. But instead of having to run home, get something to drink, and come back every hour or two, especially think about in the summer when it's like in the 90s and shit when we were out there on a blacktop. And what ended up happening was like St. Catherine's came over, put up a table, and started giving out shoes because they realize these kids are now they're getting a little bit of sugar while they're out here exercising, and that's gonna blow through their fucking equipment faster. So let's try to get them kids into newer basketball shoes. And so they did a big drive, and it was in the fucking Chicago Sun Times. Like 12,000 pairs of shoes handed out over like a 6 month period. That was kindergarten. And on the same flip, on Wednesday nights, we drove an hour west to go play at Wabanzi, and where my dad would laugh, where the only way you end up on the floor here is if you throw yourself on the floor here, and he never fucking told a fucking lie. I remember scoring as a little kid into the 20s, playing as like a first and second grader, because I was 5'7", about 135 pounds in like third grade. So when I was in third grade, I couldn't play sports against third graders. I had to play against kids 2, 3 years older than me. Football, basketball, baseball. Like you're playing against kids 2, 3 years older than you that are way more skilled and they're bigger. So that for the record, everybody's like, "Oh my god, that's child abuse! Like your dad made you play against like Wabanzi College? You ain't never even heard of that until I told you about it." And Lincoln Park, most people didn't even know exists until I just told you. No, there's like not, there were 9 basketball courts when we started. There were 14 when we left. That none of them had a fucking net on them when we got there. They all had a net on them when we left. It went from like the ghetto to hallowed ground. Derrick Rose will tell you that he came up on Lincoln Park. We not at the same time. Not at the same time. People came from all over to play there because they re-poured it, they painted it, they put up new backboards and fucking rims and shit. I don't know how much of that my parents had to do with. I didn't grow up Catholic. We just showed up and played and gave away Gatorade and shit and make sure kids had fucking laces in their shoes so they'd stop running through them. And I think like a lot of people, especially white people who aren't poor, they're never exposed to that. So they don't have a concept of who is a have, who is a have not. They just assume everybody has. Everybody's got everything they need. Everybody's doing good, right? But like be real with yourself. Like if you've worked in any sort of service industry, like where you've helped other people and gotten paid for that. I always liked those jobs. Like I worked at Radio Shack until they went out of business. I loved their thought process. I hated their implementation of their business idea. Basically, they hung on to inventory that was no longer technologically relevant, and they tried to sell it at like a super discounted rate, and they could have just dumped that shit and recycled it and turned over their inventory even faster, and they could have been the alternative to going to the Apple store, and they could have anyway. I could talk about that shit all day because I sold telecom when I came home from the Marine Corps. I knew the iPhone was the fucking like cat's pajamas. I was just in a situation in the military where technology was not available to me. And I'm also in demolition and rocketry. Do you get it? Where it's just like understanding the inner workings of a fucking supercomputer in your palm is going to be the boon. And like I said, the I want to get back to what I was trying to get to. Okay, so we have to talk about this, especially when I notice new people in the chat and shit. A few months before the election, a social media company did an audit of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and 90% of their following is fake. It's bots. They're not nearly as fucking popular as they think they are. And that's on like True Social, that's on Twitter. And if you've ever had any kind of following on social media, you know that you've been approached about buying followers, and now you know who buys followers. For the record, the fucking right. Their ideas are not nearly as popular. In fact, they're so unpopular that in order to win elections, they have to cheat. And it fucking happened. And you know what? I have a little birdie. I have a little birdie, and I have a little update for y'all about election interference. Are your spidey senses going off where you're like, oh shit? Yeah, they better fucking be. So my little birdie told me there weren't 80 bomb threats called in to majority black polling places on election day. Did your jaw just hit the fucking floor because you think I'm about to say some crazy shit? Nah, honey, there were 217. And it wasn't just majority black polling places. It makes me even sicker. Do you know where it was? Democrat cities with high percentages of white populations. Like cities that have integrated in the United States. Cities that have reached compromise. Cities that have understanding. Like Atlanta. Like big population areas. Having a wide impact and effect on the election. And the reason we know that is because they tracked the hacker. Mm-hmm. Is definitely Russian in origin, and they had a spoof VPN out of Utica, New York, and they did some research and found that that's like a spoof VPN. Yep. So the thing about it's like hard to figure out like how do we get off of that hill? So now that you know there was like 217 bomb threats called into large metropolitan areas with high percentages of white, like cities with high percentages of white population. Where what this means is like safe cities. There are safe cities in the United States. Sanctuary cities. So in my state, did they get the guy? Logan, you're assuming too much. I don't know what state you're in. I don't know what guy you're talking about, brother. You might want to work on that. So, yeah, it didn't originate in Utica. It was VPN through Utica, New York. Apparently, there's like military in the area, and I think one of the people in this chat is like from there. But basically they were, yeah, basically you would have a hard time being a successful hacker in that area. You're just like really close to military bases. So I guess it's like worth a try, I guess, if this is some fucking novel. But in like real life, you can bounce off of somebody's router, like VPN, but you ain't actually located there. No. So it was Russian in origin for sure. But like I said, I thought that was a good I thought that was good delivery, right? Where you start out by saying, this is gonna piss some of you off. There weren't 80 bomb threats in a majority black polling places on election night. Jaw drop. Like, what the fuck, Jared? Like, this is not who I thought you were. Nah, there were 217 of those motherfuckers. A whole 3 times as many. Roughly. There's Annie from Utica. But yeah, so I thought that was wild. And understand that that election interference is enough to annul an election and to revote. So I've been saying since we found out that there were 80 bomb threats in majority black polling places and that those places had to be evacuated, those places shut down. No, there was like fucking 217 of them. Wait. I got people saying, huh? Why? And explain. Why were there so why were there so why were there so many fuck, I don't know. I'm not trying to orchestrate a takeover of the government. I don't know. It's just research told us there weren't 80. There were 217. They were VPN. Yeah, they're not reporting. They ain't telling. They're not telling. Panic. They are trying to avoid mass panic. That was the trigger. They're trying to avoid mass panic. Yeah, for sure. They're not gonna report that shit. They say 80 majority black. Hell, half the country's like, that ain't us. So, but now it's like now white people should be really pissed that we were misled by the media, the same media that is not talking about election interference or election fraud. I must have missed it. Did I miss a question from Brazier? Thoughts on martial law being declared. So remember, I've been saying, hey, I saw this this article a couple weeks ago talking about how Russia. Do you remember? Yeah, I'm getting around to it. So, you remember the article about Russia testing the ICBM and for the record it failed. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know this was supposed to go like 3,000 miles and it only made it like 300 miles? Did y'all know that? Okay, well because they had been fighting in Romania and that ICBM went down in Romania. It is NATO Article 4. So go look up NATO Article 4, which isn't triggered. It's not something you announce. So that just happens. So when you hey, listen, sometimes you have to find shit funny. There were no known casualties that I could verify. Of course, Russia tried to say it hit its target. Yo, did it? Rumors are it didn't even explode when it initially hit the ground. It had to be fucking remotely detonated. You fucking morons. Anyway, anyway, so NATO Article 4 you don't actually announce. But yeah, of course it fucking failed. Um, it it triggered NATO Article 4. And so what you've noticed, if you've paid any attention to the media, they're again trying to avoid mass panic. The United States is like due for a massive panic attack. If there's anything that you can learn from my existence, where I'm just like telling you, control what you can control, take care of yourself, try not to let this situation get you too worked up, because it's gonna fucking give you an aneurysm or a heart attack. And that's them just the facts, kids. Like, you, at some point, you've got to understand, like, it's better to be calm and be heard than to like let everything get to you to the point where you potentially like overreact, overplay your hand, expose yourself, make yourself a target, right? It's just better to be prepared, you know? Better to have just spent your life thinking about what if and trying to answer those with your behaviors, right? And now we've just learned 8 hours of sleep, hydrate, eat right, exercise, like self care. Take care of yourself. Gummy industry's making millions. Oh my god, we'll go through those. Like it'd be like if you put Skittles in my house, where you're just like, let me get a handful. Like, no, that is not how those work. Not, I don't know. No, we're not talking about the same kind of gummy. But now I realize that after I said it. Sorry. Um, yo, I feel like this is relevant. So yeah, when NATO Article 4, Article 5, wartime powers, martial law shit. Um, I think that what Elon Musk did last night, if successful, could exacerbate time frames. And so that's one of the things I want to make sure that I tell my audience is that because of Elon Musk's behavior and because I've had a clearance and because I've worked in security and because I was in the Marine Corps, because my entire family's law enforcement, I could see an outside actor, right, influencing policy. He's not even an elected official. And again, I don't know that he's doing something wrong, so I want to make sure I have that caveat that I'm not a lawyer. But I'm just saying, like, he has a fuckload of investigations going on already into all kind of shit. And if you look at Elon Musk and the stories involving Elon Musk in the last week, he's having a pretty bad time, all things considered. Here, let me explain. On Friday, it was public information. Do you understand? When shit is public, it is real. Like when the feds put you on blast, Elon Musk faces heavy SEC fines or indictment for securities fraud. And what happens? Crickets since. I've been saying if the media is not saying anything and you're not seeing anything, what the fuck do you think happened? And again, that is an insinuation. That's called show. That's why this is a show and a podcast, because I'm kind of implying what the fuck do you think happened? I think he flew around and begging for fucking cash because he doesn't fucking have it like that, because that's not how being rich works. I've been trying to explain people like people are excited because like a billionaire got fucking gunned down in broad daylight. And I've tried to tell people, when you are relying on so many people to do your bidding, it weakens you as a being. It's like you're more susceptible. Bingo, May. May says, I think they would have just said that he fucking paid it. Hey, Google that. Google Elon Musk pays his dues. Nah, fam. So he has this appearance of being like above the law, just like Donald J. Trump being above the law. And what I've tried to say this whole time is those motherfuckers did not take government. They don't know how this shit works. Elon Musk thinks they won on election night and that he did his fucking job. That's why do you think he's fucking frustrated? Why do you think Donald Trump ran out there to try to get his fucking presidency backdated? Why? And I know that that rhymed. That rhymed and it was a bar, but that was not intentional. I just want to make sure. But Lori asks, "Is his money frozen?" No, it's just when you're rich, like $400 billion rich, it's because your companies have high valuations. SpaceX, Tesla, Starlink, Neuralink even got a fucking $50 billion goddamn 49 billion if you want to be exact, $1 billion fucking investment. But understand, like his actual net worth, that 400 billion. Fuck, if he's 10%, I mean think about it, if he's 10% liquid, that's 40 fucking $billion cash. He doesn't have that. 1% is $4 billion cash. Do you think he has $4 billion in cash? Nah. I think he has less than 2. I'm just playing my cards. I think he has 1.6 billion. I think that most of his valuation is wrapped up in the value of his the businesses that he owns. Um, and I think that the feds can lock your bank account and then be like, "Pay us, or we're gonna indict you." Because they're gonna fucking indict you. They just also know that they could fine you 20 mil each. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think he just exacerbated the time frame is all. I think I honestly think they were gonna let him kind of navigate and see what he could what the fuck could you possibly do now? And the hard reality is like she said Logan said he don't even have that much. Yeah. We're in the Elon Musk is finding out. Yep. And again, I think what he did last night is going to exacerbate things. And he's tightening his own noose. So what does 30 days left mean? Well, there's 30 days from December 20th to January 20th, basically, right? And the government shutdown, I think, would go until they get into power. That DNI on November 4th was press release, meaning that's what they released to the press regarding the big situation. Yeah, there's a reason that the show is called Justice's Waiting Room because we're just waiting on justice. And for the record, for the record, I would argue since November 5th has been the most active I have ever seen like law enforcement. More fucking arrests of people doing wrong than I've ever seen in my life in the last fucking month. Tell me I'm wrong. They busted a fucking hacking ring in Africa. It was like hundreds of thousands. There was like another one that was like 80,000, something like that. There was another one that was like 30,000. There was tons of these things of thousands of people arrested. So like I said, Dulce's question. The fuck is Dulce? I don't see that. Is that D? Oh, you're talking about martial law. So the good news is with martial law, you don't have to worry about the GOP fucking ruining your fucking dinner because it suspends all political activities and administrations, and the military is now in charge. It just means that it's sort of a reversal of the power structure. Just means like generals speak over the fucking president and shit. He's gonna get advice, which is not good for Donald Trump and his GOP. Like I said, people are gonna get hurt. You know, remember Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government when he was in power. Yeah, lot of movement, lot of movement. Last night we were talking in our Discord. Um, you got 17 people in here. Well, remember that a government shutdown just it doesn't mean what you think it means. It means they just failed to meet a budget, and people's paychecks are going to be fucked up. And people relying on certain funds, they're just going to get that late. Ultimately, I don't anticipate it'll actually work out. You know what I want to happen today? I want Elon Musk to get fucking arrested, and I want the government to not get shut down. And if we can get one of fucking two, I'll be ecstatic. If we can get one or two in the next handful of days, I'd be fucking ecstatic. If you get that both of them things done by, January 6th or whatever, it'd be great. But yeah, nobody's putting down the shit and going home. You know what I mean? I feel like this is significant. Mm, 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 mm. Remember how there's 40,000 NATO troops in Ukraine? Well, how about Ukraine scores major $286 million military boost from NATO ally, the UK. Okay? Nah, 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 nah. You don't get to pray for justice and then be pissed at how it's delivered. You understand? Like, I don't give a shit if they tie Vladimir Putin's hands behind his back and throw him off an aircraft carrier like Osama motherfucking bin Laden. It would be the same if they fucking hung him like they did Saddam Hussein. It would be the same as if they fucking took him out back and fucking put two in the head. It don't fucking matter to me how it happens. Justice is justice, baby, and you just gotta look at it. And you gotta know, like, you nor no one you know is never doing shit that fucked up. That's for fucking sure. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people praying for justice that are gonna fucking hate what that looks like. And I know that you're scoffing at me, and I know you're like, "Oh, come on, I've been through so much." You know what I mean? We've all been through so much. We want justice, and it's okay and shit. And it's just like I'm over here telling you, you're gonna get justice, and you're gonna fucking like it. Like you're gonna be like, "That's what justice looks like." Yup. That's what fucking justice looks like. Make the hair in the back of your neck stand up. That'd make you fucking pace around your house and think about the devastation of the military industrial complex in the United States and how it's been overfunded for fucking years and how they've been fucking really, really putting in work. The U.S. military versus like a Russia or North Korea, this is a dog walk. This is not what you think. And I understand there's a lot of people that, and again, who do you think is teaching Ukraine how to fight? That small ass country with that small ass army that's like 17 KD up on Russia, just thrashing them. The United fucking States. So understand when it's a fucking airstrike and it's over like that. Oops. I hope there's not much collateral damage. Yep. Go to Macy. Huh. Huh. This is new, I think. Do we already know that? Because I think he flouted about rules. Also. I mean, you want to talk about a constitutional danger? Here's the most dangerous thing that could happen in the next few days. I'm telling you. Telling you. That's right. Florida's going to lose Pornhub access. Valerie said, I deal with military community at my job. Many are going to Poland. Good. Poland's got F-16s training in New York. Poland told its people to prepare for war. Poland's a NATO ally. Poland's teaching its people how to clean water. Socialism, by the way. Poland has socialism. I would live there. Okay, so we don't know it's rumored to have a press conference. That's one of the things that's very difficult is that I don't know. I don't know where to find the schedule of press conferences is. Poland training F-16s and F-35s in Arkansas. I'm looking over the news, see if there's anything to share. But yeah, there's a reason that I made this up that we started Justice's Waiting Room. We started on TikTok doing TikTok lives. Um, it evolved into 90 minutes. I got dogs. I work from home. They were all asleep. It was actually cute. Everybody was asleep when we started today, and they've been quiet. So it's fucking awesome. Um, but yeah, I did want to make sure we did talk about. I think we said something earlier. California did declare a state of emergency over the bird flu. I would wear a mask. I would wear a mask. And I would buckle up because I definitely think that Elon Musk is kicking the fucking hornet's nest. You know what I mean? And I think he's in a world of fucking trouble. And the thing about it is, I can't imagine why. Look at my eyes. Why would Elon Musk want to shut down the government until Donald Trump gets inaugurated? It's like so dead obvious. He's in a world of hurt. His shit is on a crash course. Um, I've joked from moment one that I can't wait until Twitter and Tesla and Starlink and fucking um, SpaceX are all public trust. I can't fucking wait. So, like I said, my little birdies have not missed yet. Have not missed yet. I think the next name to hit would be Don Palmer or Charlie Kirk. So if you hear uh here now, I think Elon's in a world of hurt, and then like I said, after Elon, Donald Trump, David Sachs, Charlie Kirk, Donald Palmer, that lawyer Von Trovsky, um, Trent Bowyer, who I guess is like a social media influencer I never heard of. But these are all still kind of lingering. And keep in mind, we could cross Chuck Grassley off, right? It's not that he got, it's that Alexander Smirnov's case that he brought as an informant against Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, where he tried to accuse them of doing a backdoor deal with Ukraine for like 32 million, which is fucking stupid in hindsight, because like not that fucking much money, dude. Uh, but he admitted to lying about the sitch. So like that didn't actually happen. Chuck Grassley was named in that, like the report they give at the end. I think so, like I said, I think something needs to happen before Christmas. I think that, like I said, there's a reason I'm here to de-escalate, and I figure if you're sitting and listening to me, you're not you're not out planning violence against the state and shit, you know? And I think it's a little like we could organize and protest and shit. I just think it's a little early. I think you gotta see what happens what happens tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But understand, once it gets to fucking Christmas Eve, Christmas, hey, not shit's gonna happen between the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st, maybe by the 2nd. So I think something needs to happen. Like, remember, I think it's Newton's third law: every action has an opposite reaction. Thank you, Newton's third law, Jared. So like I said, it feels like it's a pendulum and it's swinging, and like it just hasn't quite connected yet. So I still think that would be why in the final hours, right before this vote's supposed to go live, it was an agreement the Republicans already made. But apparently Donald Trump's making additional demands, and it's like he's not in fucking office. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it gives me a great deal of purpose, and he knows. Um, but we're just gonna have to wait. So we're just gonna chill in Justice's waiting room. And I realize that yes, I lied about wearing red. I actually have this, and I have another Under Armour red hoodie, but the other hoodie is too small, and this is just fucking. I actually got that in Universal, like at Hogwarts. It was like the yeah. I mean, you don't got much shit left. They've done. It, Maru's right. This has been like the longest fucking year ever. Holy shit! Can like think about since November 5th. Longest fucking 5 weeks of my life. 5.5, 6 weeks of my life. Swear to God. But also, I think we've taken we've taken 90 minutes at a time, and we've talked about like the relevant stories of the hour that we could, that are worth fucking talking about. Israel strikes Yemen's capital. So again, yeah, for sure. Brasher's right. Here, let me pass you the link to our TikTok. Okay, there's 20 fucking people in here, and we only got 16 people in our Discord. Okay, so almost everybody is in there. Discord's just a place where we can talk when I'm not live, and I try to. That's one of the things that I want to do that I don't see anyone else doing is actually being accessible and actually being a part of their community. Okay, so that's one of the things that I want to point out. Okay, because I'm in the process of doing the whole Patreon thing. Okay. I'm trying to see if they proved that yet. Oh, you know what? I put it on my another email. So here's what I figure. Okay. This is what I did. Okay. Made us a Patreon. Okay. Okay. 20, 50, $100 a month. The way I thought about it is $20 a month cheaper than the newspaper. $50 a month still cheaper than getting the newspaper every day. $100 a month cheaper than cable. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. If you would like to PayPal me, my PayPal is likely alien. Like I said, if you can't do, and like I said, I'm solvent. So if you don't give me money, it's not the end of the fucking world. So don't stress about it. It's just that people are going to ask. And so I'm going to take time at the end of my hour and a half and say, look, eventually people are going to be like, let me do something. And it's like, look, I give you my, mm, mm, mm. But yeah, they should just have a copy right here. So as I've said, like the way I have to think about money is I'm going to apply funds where applicable first. For example, it's about $100 a month, twice a month, so it's about $200 a month to feed the animals. So you could look at it that way. You could be like, I give them $100 a month, feeds the dogs, feeds the cats. Savvy? I'm not out here trying to get rich. It's that it is requisite. If I don't give you Patreon, give you my PayPal, and say if you want to connect financially that way and support me, here's how. People will do it for me. People will create these in your name. People will create fraudulent shit in your name. And so you ain't never gonna see a Patreon with my name on it where I'll let you give me 2, 5, 7, 10, 12, $15 a month. If the people that will do that will pay like that amount of money, they're budgeting that, and I don't even want those people's money. I want people that are used to consuming traditional media and have come to an understanding that it is not serving them anymore. And many people have cut the cord. Like I've cut the cord. Like I don't watch the news. Okay? And so understand that the money that you give me, because I am solvent, one, it's going to pay bills that my money currently pays. So very early, the first $1,000 a month feeds the dogs, pays for groceries. Once you get outside of like $1,000 a month, once we're outside of $1,000 a month, we start getting to plan for emergency, right? I have an emergency fund, so if Taylor's car breaks down, we can fix it. Shit like that, guys. Once you get outside of emergency planning, now you have to plan for survival, I think, in the climate that we're in. And I've even talked with my neighbor across the way, and I've never really had a relationship with my neighbor. So imagine like walking up, hugging your fucking neighbor. He's this little old man, fucking hugging your neighbor, saying, I feel like we're all in danger. The fucking police are coming to my house. And 3 fucking police units came to my fucking house and questioned me right after the election. And that's after about 2 weeks on fucking TikTok. So if you ask, like, are we having a fucking impact? Is my money going to have an impact? Does it matter if I support this creator? No, actually, the money I think will be there because my content is good. My intentions are pure. Anyone can fucking finance this. It doesn't have and I will be careful about who I take money from. And I think that's one thing that people don't do is they don't care who gives them money. They don't care if they take it from someone that doesn't have it and who's supporting you because they feel like it's the only way. No, man, I've tried to tell you all. You know what's more valuable to me? You know what's more valuable to me than you giving me money? Is you interacting with me on the content I produce. It's you being in my podcast. It's you liking and commenting and sharing my fucking TikToks. It's interacting with me on Blue Sky and liking my content. And you could go above and beyond. You are allowed in this instance if you think that I'm asking too much by saying like I don't want your money if money's tight for you, I don't want it. I'm caring about you and I don't even know your financial situation. Most people don't do this. Most people set these low Patreons, they scoop money from poor people, and then they lose their base when that money goes away. And I'm going to be here paid or unpaid. But understand, once there's money involved, you got to understand what we're about to experience this afternoon. So let's talk about this afternoon. I haven't really gotten any feedback from the change in the show since we've been under a 7-day ban from TikTok. And remember, I know why. I know exactly why our fucking live got banned. It got banned for gore because we were talking about, remember the story? I just read the fucking headline. It's not like I sent a link or played a video and you could hear it. But the video that I ended up watching several fucking times because it was hot. Like, some people like erotica. I like violence. And so, basically, it was a drone strike on a Russian patrol unit, and it took them all down. And they were kind of stranded where they were, and Ukrainian Marines went in and finished it up. And that's what I said. And our TikTok got banned for a fucking week. Because I'd been banned on TikTok before. Every time I'd been banned, I'd been back in like 5 minutes because you just appeal and it goes to a human and you get to write 500 words why you don't think it should be fucking banned. And every single time I'm like, because it's fucking free speech. We're talking about the news. We're literally talking about things that are actually happening. And instead of giving up on this election, which is literally what I feel like I'm sitting when I go into if I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of other TikTokers, every one of those motherfuckers have started obeying in advance, bending the fucking knee, and planning for trying to prepare you for the worst. And I've tried to tell you that the Constitution's fucking rigid. Remember that? That was a good fucking thing. Rigid. And I've said Donald Trump's not eligible for office because he participated in an insurrection. He's in violation of the 14th Amendment, Article 3. And Jamie Raskin said that in an interview before the election, that if the voters aren't going to do it, we're just going to have to do it on January 6th. They're going to tell Donald Trump he's not eligible for office. So I've had that expectation this entire time. And remember, in the last week, we moved the goalposts. Because we were like, well, Executive Order 13848, those reports are due December 20th. And then I had made the comment that Kamala Harris said in a speech, only when it's darkest can you see the stars. And I think, what does rigid mean, Logan? It means that there's not a lot of, RIGID, rigid. It means that there's not flexibility. It's the opposite of flexible. So like when you see someone that can do the splits and shit and their elbows are double jointed, yeah, rigid's like the fucking opposite of that shit. There's not any flexibility. They don't have good range of motion. Yeah. So yeah. Money send him. Puts a lot of time into doing it for all. It's none of my business or anyone's. Yeah, it sounds like a good cause. My just do money means you can't fuck with it. So understand that. And understand this. One of the content creators that I really came to like, that I had to unfollow him and stop watching his shit, is a constitutional scholar, because he gave up, because he was like, they've defeated our justice system and now it's about the resistance and shit, and good for him, but he still think it's grounded in rule of law, and I don't believe that. I think socialism is the answer. It is the future. 33 of 34 developed countries have universal health care. And again, unlike Wesley Hunt, who last night got on national television and bragged that he went to West Point, his dad was a colonel, his siblings went to West Point, and he had multiple degrees from Ivy League schools, and he denounced socialism and said it was anti-American, or antithetical to the American dream, is what I actually think he said. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows the American dream is dead. The hard reality is that socialism is what we need. We need a government that uses our taxes to keep us alive. If the government is not going to use our taxes to keep us alive, it's not a government. It's a company. If Donald Trump gets in power, the rule of law is over. It's over. You're living in the fall of American democracy. But that hasn't fucking happened yet. That hasn't fucking happened yet. And keep in mind, even if Donald Trump does get elected, I don't expect democracy to go without a fight. Understand that. And I don't expect him, if Donald Trump does get elected, that he isn't president very long. And I ain't talking about him dying, and I ain't talking about JD Vance. Again, I fully expect our Executive Order 13848, Article 4, Article 5, wartime powers. And again, I feel like I'm the only one saying it consistently. Tell me when I'm wrong. Point me to other content creators that are knowledgeable about what we're talking about and are saying every fucking day, understand what my expectations are. Understand that I don't think 300, I think the last report I read was that there was 344,600 federal government employees, and what we're thinking about is like all these agencies that Donald Trump's threatening to get rid of. And for the last 45 days, all of their energy is and frankly, if the survival of my organization was on the line, all hands on motherfucking deck. A report is due in 45 days on the Director of National Intelligence's desk. That's tomorrow. And again, I think the 23rd looks great. That was until this morning. So understand that because of Elon Musk's fucking behavior, you dumbass, I think that changes some shit. And I think you can see it in my fucking face. I can looking at myself. I think that changes some shit. And shit starts to move with some goddamn velocity. And it gets turbulent quick. And you're like, oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. I want to see him on his face. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just face down in handcuffs. I want to see the rash on him. I want him to get treated like all my black friends. How long we been doing this? I hate that. I can't see the time. Hour and 31 minutes. That's a good time frame. All right. I think we are the people to know if he gets in. Let's see. But yeah, to answer your question, once you get past about the first $1,000 a month, you start to getting into paying bills. Once bills are paid, and every month we're able to make sure that we have enough money for like a, I think you should have a little bit of money set aside in case something bad happens. I don't know if anybody's ever told you all that, but once you've got a little bit of money saved up for an emergency, I'm gonna build a garden and put solar panels on my roof. And if money is big enough, I'll buy a fucking Rivian, right? If money's fucking good enough, I'd love to get into, because I coach football and I have an idea involving drones. I was talking to someone from our Discord last night about drones, and I have an idea for the way you should film practice and the game, and it would have to be a business. It can't be like something that I do as part of being a head coach. It's too labor intensive. But frequently, you either are giving away low quality film or you're producing it. You're producing low quality film and giving it away to your opponents, but that's the film you have. So you also are creating shitty film for yourself. And it's really hard to film football using like the goalposts isn't great. The sideline's not great. You don't have a great angle. The press box, not fucking great. What would be better is like an overhead shot or a third person omniscient shot. And the only way to do that's with a drone. And I think it's worth a zillion fucking dollars. And it's like a good thing, like increasing the quality of fucking film and having a football game shot from the fucking correct fucking angle. Not only makes it like a better watch and could change the way fucking film is shot forever. Uh, it also like came out after I came home from the Marine Corps, so it's not like I had experience on active duty with drones. It was kind of like a thing that came out in fucking Call of Duty. You know what I mean? And it's always been kind of like an aberration. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. It's always been like something that exists, but you can't make. Yeah, I can verify it's real. I don't fucking know. I ain't never seen a drone in person. Um, so and remember that those are all distractions. Aliens, drones, all that shit, distractions. Yes, yes, yep. So that was kind of the theme of today. Is that hey, I think this changes my. I don't know about what it did for anyone else, but I was kind of like, if I don't hear something by the 23rd, I'm gonna get shitty. And now I'm like, I think Elon Musk fucked with that time frame, and it might be moved up now, just because people are in danger, you know? Because he doesn't care who he hurts. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. It's breaking news. Not much to tell, just so you know. Yeah. So that's kind of what my wife and I've thought about. Like if Donald Trump wins, I'm definitely leaving Indiana. That's for sure. Because it's like a super red state. But one of the things about Indiana was I don't know if I told y'all that when we looked at the data from the election, the Indiana is one of the only ones whose data appears normal, and that's what gives me pause about Indiana is because like that data looks too normal compared to all the other data that's all fucked up, and that makes it stick out even worse. So I'm gonna get out of here, go let the dogs out, hang out a little bit, go to the bathroom, eat lunch, shit like that, and then we'll be back. What I try to do, here's what I'm trying to do, right? While it's free, right? So think about it, guys. While there's no money involved, I do a morning show 90 minutes. I do an afternoon show 90 minutes every single day. I make content on TikTok. Okay? Once there's money involved, notice on my Patreon, I didn't make any promises. I just said like if you pay me $20 a month, that's less than a newspaper. $50, still less than a newspaper is $1 a day for Indianapolis Star. Okay? $1.50 for Sunday. Okay? $100 a month is cheaper than your cable bill. It's mostly because if I don't put that up, someone will put it up fraudulently. So I'm putting it up there. I set high numbers. I didn't promise anything. That's how you know it's me. That's an identifier. Is that when it came to the money, I'm not grinding for pennies. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not if somebody wants to support me and they don't want to do any of those options, PayPal me. Just PayPal me. And like I said, the money, I don't have a drug issue. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not smoking cigarettes. This ain't you ain't paying for my smoke break. Savvy? So keep that in mind. Okay? But they're not getting into office. I just think that they exacerbated shit. And understand that the indictment still stands and it already went through appeal, so you can't like reappeal. Uh and I'm sure that you can do something about the disqualification. Just saying. So I know we talked about money a little bit, and it's like my least favorite conversation to have, but I wanted y'all to hear it from me before anything happens, before we get back live on TikTok this afternoon. And so it will be live at 2:45 p.m. this afternoon. You can fucking book it, and we'll be live on here in TikTok. I wait, Lori is a dumper, somebody that's like down in the dumps. Is that, or were you trying to say Trumper? I can't imagine being surrounded by Trumpers. We failed the first part of deprogramming and didn't just immediately lock those people out of our lives. Like I'm going to Christmas Eve and Christmas. I ain't saying shit, right? I don't want to be here. Okay, you said Trumpers, surrounded by Trumpers. Can't imagine. Can't imagine. I can't imagine being around them and them boasting and me not trying to put this knuckle through the back of your head from the front. I can't imagine me not just reacting. Like, you voted to take away my veterans benefits. You voted to take away social safety nets and kill millions of people. It's nothing to be proud of. It's everything to be ashamed of. And the fun part about this is lots of them are coming around on that, and that's as a result of deprogramming them from being brainwashed. They're feeling the weight of their decisions, and that's one of the things that we got to keep in mind as people are coming around on Donald Trump. People are coming around fucking quick on Donald Trump. They are learning the hard way, and that is deprogramming them because they were brainwashed. Put up 6 foot privacy cent. Yeah, yeah. Fortunately for me, my best friend is a black man from Brooklyn, New York. That was pre-law at IU. So of course he fucking hates Donald Trump for a million fucking reasons. My wife is, yeah, Carrie Ruger. And like I said, the way I would inform my audience is nothing smaller than a 9 millimeter and aim right here. Don't don't aim to maim someone. Not in this climate. They'll kill you in a heartbeat. Take care of yourself. Protect yourself. I don't hardly leave the house. And I have fucking pit bulls that are like, for the record, great fucking guard dog. Great fucking guard dog. I know when the packages are coming. Trust. So yeah, don't be alarmed or stressed. Don't let things you can't control stress you out. Don't let this world get you down. Or you'll wear it. You'll wear it on your face. It'll sink into your attitude. It'll become who you are. When I think you're great. Like you're good. You're gonna be fine. You're here with me. You've clearly found someone that you trust, and you know that like I talked to you up front about the angles that we're coming from. We're sort of a left-leaning show, right? You know my politics up front. You know my life and my background up front, right? You know how I perceive the money issue as a non-issue. So have a fucking great week. Have a fucking great rest of your day. It's gonna be a little bit of a gap before I see you, because it's wisest to go live when you can co-stream, right? And we're gonna try real hard to not get banned. So that's gonna sort of affect the content. I'm still gonna cuss. I'm still gonna be myself, but it's gonna affect the sorts of stories that So that was why I started talking about money, because right away I was like, hey, what I could see you wanting to pay for with your membership is a live YouTube show where we really talk about it all. And it's not watered down for TikTok. So I can already see that. Do you see that? Yeah. So yeah, we'll be on YouTube and we'll be co-streaming live. So I'll have the hand cam off my iPhone for the TikTok stream, and I'll have the YouTube stream up as well. Yep. So beyond the days of leaning. Yeah, I mean, I'd said that, realizing that I'd kind of called myself a socialist a lot, and that means that I'm all the way pegged hard left. Um, but yeah, remember that socialism is just the desire for everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. And I did a video this morning about what is the value of socialism, and I've pegged it at about $75,000 per person per year. And that's probably on the low end. So when people say what is the value of living in a socialist society, cost difference is about 75K minimum. That's on the low end. So have a good rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon in Justice's waiting room. Hey